At this time, we'll continue our post-match press conference for the 2019 NCAA Division I Men's Volleyball Championship with Long Beach State head coach Alan Knipe and student athletes Kyle Ensing, TJ DeFalco, and Josh Tuaninga. We'll start with an opening statement from head coach Alan Knipe and then open it up for questions. Please raise your hand and we'll bring the mic to you for the recording. When you're ready, coach.
Yeah, wow. What an incredible match and what an incredible series with these guys, for the last month. I've said it before, it literally felt, I guess, I'm not an NBA coach, but it felt like an NBA finals to me, going back and forth and playing these big, physical, close matches against a incredibly talented, incredibly well-coached team. And hopefully, I think everyone was pleased with the brand of volleyball that was played, but hopefully also you got to see the absolute respect that both these two teams have for one another. And I think that was on display all 4 matches we played against these guys. But I'm so happy for our guys, our group of seniors. It's an incredibly special thing to win the last game of the season. I don't care where it is, but to win the last game in the pyramid for this group is incredible. It's great for them. It's great for our program. It's great for the Long Beach Nation, the community, the campus, everybody who made this possible. Huge shout out to everybody who helped. There's a million people we would have to thank. It takes a ton of people to do what our campus did. Thanks to the NCAA committee for everything they did, and couldn't be happier than my guys. Go Beach.
All right, we'll open up for questions. Mike.
Alan, when these guys, committed to you 6 freaking years ago, or however long it's been, I know this was more or less the last 4 years has gone pretty close to how you would have envisioned it going in a best case scenario, right? Can you just kind of reflect on that, what that's been like?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard to reflect. I'm not one to do a whole lot of reflection in the moment, so it's hard to slow it down right now and probably be really articulate about this. But you're talking about a team that came in and went to 4 Final Fours and won back-to-back national championships. In the meantime, won 40-plus straight matches in the pyramid and smashed records right, left, and center. But while they did it the right way. They did it very unselfish. They did it with hard work and grit. They brought their teammates along. This was a totally different journey than last year. People, you look at our roster, and there's a lot of faces that were on the court, but we pretty much lost our whole other half of the gym that we trained against every single day, and the core of the nucleus of our guys, of our group before these guys even got here, and the Matt Butlers and Zach Gates and Willahans of the world who grinded it out every day. So it took a while for this group to kind of figure out the 19 version. And I have so much respect for the way these guys brought our group along this year to the point that our other side of the net, we're winning drills at the end of the year and competing and pushing these guys. And when we made our big end of the year push, a big part of that was our training environment and how good the other players in our gym got. And that came from leadership. That came from, by and large, it came from a commitment to doing it right all the time, and your best players being your hardest working players and showing by example of how Long Beach State volleyball does things. And that's how we got better by the end of the year.
Vinny?
Vane Lopes here from Off the Block. Question for all the players, because the volleyball community's been asking it. Do you guys feel that this is the greatest college men's volleyball team we'll see in our lifetime?
You guys want to try to answer that?
Looks like TJ's up.
I have no idea. It comes down to so many different factors throughout recruiting classes and the the level of volleyball in that time period, level of volleyball in his time period, level of volleyball in our time period. There's so many different variables into that. The best ever. We'll never know. There's no. But we'd like to think. Whatever. I don't know.
Let me say one thing on that. That has been posed to me now for a couple of years. And there's been some people that have made that statement over and over again. There is no way to compare generations of volleyball. There's been so many good players that have played this game and so many great teams, and the rules have changed and the systems have changed. But I've been around this game for a long time, and I don't know that we'll leave it for the experts like you, Vinny, who run a blog and run your own website. You can make that decision. I just know of all the teams I've been around, I would like to suit up and play against any of them. And I think we'd have a pretty good chance, and who knows how it works out. But that's how we believe about it. But we can talk about that now. It's not something we spend any time. I'll tell you, the team we played tonight would have a lot of success against a lot of championship teams over the years as well. That's an incredible team.
Yep.
Joseph Zippolino, Honolulu Star-Advertiser. I'd like to ask all of you this. Obviously, the atmosphere for your final regular season matches against Hawaii was intense, but how much more charged was tonight? And to what degree can you to what degree does that energize you, and to what degree does that possibly wear down the opposition, especially later in a match?
All right, Josh.
I mean, it just helps us. It creates an environment where we want to execute more. We want to get this crowd involved in what we're doing. It's all about staying in our game plan of executing what we're trying to do, and creating that energy. And then once you have that. The crowd behind you and the whole atmosphere behind you, it makes it easier to kind of, I guess, put pressure on other teams and cause more stress, because not only are they feeling it on the volleyball side, but they may not have that same support as they did in Hawaii, right? Having that entire crowd with them. So it definitely gave us some energy, and it gave us some more fight when we're trying to execute our game plan.
Blake?
Blake Richardson with the LA Times. Related to that, I just was wondering, for you guys, what does it mean to, as seniors, go out like this, not just winning a second national championship, but also having it be at home in front of a sold-out home crowd?
Kyle?
I mean, of course, winning back-to-back national championships, especially on our senior year, is definitely one of the most exciting times of our lives. And we always tell ourselves that it's going to be one of the greatest memories of our life every time we play. And just winning back-to-back and winning this year on our senior years has just been a blessing, and it's just awesome to think about.
Janice?
Maybe it's too soon, but cutting the net. Did you think about that this is the last time you guys are going to be doing this on a college court?
A lot of work.
No, we didn't. No, we. Well, it was one of those things that we kind of knew and lingered in the back of our minds, but there was no energy or attention put to that whatsoever, because there was no point. We got more matches to play, more volleyball to play, and now that we bring it up after the fact, maybe that's something we can think about, but I'd rather not, as opposed, we're going to keep playing volleyball, and so probably not.
Brian?
Kyle, throughout the match, Long Beach was Hawaii was just, countering everything you guys were throwing at them.
Yeah.
Can you sort of just talk about the change of pace with your off-speed kills that kind of just sparked a little run?
Yeah, it was definitely. Going into that match, it's a physical match. Both of these teams are really physical, and we went into this match thinking that, we had to bring our physicality to another level, and so did they. And I just thought, maybe mix up another shot, and it worked.
BJ?
So I met you three when you were on those USAV high performance teams with Joe Worsley and with Brett Rosenmeyer and Pat Gassman. And so what has this rivalry been like this year with players that you guys know really well from playing with them?
I think it's been just a bunch of respect, because we had those memories. We played, they were our teammates at one point, when we were kind of playing against each other for years of college, and then it was just about a mutual respect that we had across the net. We're not going to talk trash or get fired up. We're just going to recognize their game, and hopefully they recognize it back. And then so that it's been great to have not necessarily a rivalry, but just like old teammates to play against, kind of.
Mike?
For any of the players, I mean, you guys, it's been talked about obviously, but to win that national championship on the home floor, and then, I see you all have 30, 50 family members, Josh, 70 family members, whatever. What's that moment like when you first see them and you're sort of soaking it in? You've got, teammates and classmates all over the floor, and you're in your home gym.
Well, for me, it's, living here and kind of being here somewhat on my own for the majority part of college, and then to see running out onto the court my literal entire family was very special for me. Three or four or five of them, however many there were, I didn't even know they were going to be here, and then they just show up at the end of the match. And so, something like that, and not knowing that I'm playing for them and I really am playing for them, it makes it that much more special to see all their faces.
Cindy?
Josh, it's gone 5 so many times with Hawaii. Why didn't it go? Is there one thing you can point to tonight that prevented it from going 5?
I think there was a few sets that we were able to have some composure late. Once it got into those 20s, there were times that we were maybe up 22-20, and then they'd score a couple, and then we're tied up. Once it hit those 20s, it's like, all right, now we gotta really buckle down and execute some good volleyball. So having some composure late in some of these close sets was a huge deal for us.
Ray?
So we've talked about how this is the last time we are going to see you play volleyball on this team, on this court. Is volleyball in your future? What's next for you guys?
Yeah.
No, I would like to play volleyball for as long as I can, as long as the knees hold up.
I would imagine that all three of these guys aren't going to have to fly to their next stop. It's going to be right down the 22 freeway in Anaheim. Though I would imagine they probably already have emails from USA Volleyball's assistant coaches telling them what the schedule is going to be. So they might want to avoid that one for a few days, but they'll be getting those emails fast. But besides that, they have a lot of volleyball to be played professionally overseas too. It's a very, very special group.
Bob?
Alan, the word family is thrown around sports quite a bit these days, all sports. But you've been around these guys for 4 years. You've been part of a championship team. How much different is this group than anyone you've ever been a part of?
Well, it would be easy for me to say in the moment that it's unlike anything I've ever been part of. In a way, it is, because it's been a different group and a different journey. And I'm not a first or second year coach with them, so I think I had a little bit more patience maybe with this group and a little bit more, wider vision for what I thought they could do. And however, I don't think there's a lot different in the culture at Long Beach State from the days that I played to the days that I've coached. That's something that was instilled by the players and their commitment to wear the LB for well before I've ever been here, and it will continue. This program's way bigger than me, and it's way bigger than these guys that are up here. But in the moment, what these guys have done, they've moved the mark like no other group has. They back-to-back championships, 4 Final Fours. Every one of them have been a Player of the Year at some point. Incredible statistics that I couldn't even start to go over. But more importantly, they energized men's volleyball here, and they moved the mark nationally. And they also, timing was a big part of this, with the Big West coming in and splitting away from the MPSF and getting our conference behind us. There was just so much momentum. And then also the perfect storm with our athletic director, Andy Fee, and our president being here at the right time with us also, because if you notice the facility that we play in and the new floor this year and hosting the championship this year wasn't random. That was vision 4 years ago for more than just me of deciding this group deserves a chance to play for a national championship in Long Beach, and we're going to put it out there, and we're going to put a bid in. So you stack up all of those things, and it was the perfect storm. But this group will go down as the group that moved the mark the furthest.
Vinny?
TJ, I just want to ask you, because we've seen players of your caliber, Matt Anderson, Thomas Dresky, go pro early. And I want to ask you, what do you feel was some of the experience that you gained staying in college for 4 years that you wouldn't have gained had you gone pro early?
Yeah. I think it was, for them, it was more of a forced situation, with the Olympics the next year or that year or whatever. It was a big deal for them to leave. It wasn't necessarily my case, and I mean, I couldn't tell you how much. There's no way to categorize it, how much I've grown from staying in college and learning from the coaching staff and learning from my teammates and staying with them and bonding with them and doing this thing the right way. I'm not saying that way was obviously, but riding it out and getting most exposure with them, and I mean, everything has just been amazing, and I wouldn't change it for anything.
Blake?
For TJ, Kyle, and Josh, what legacy do you all kind of think or hope that you're leaving on the Long Beach State program?
Well, I think there's some effects showing right now. I mean, you see like a ton of shirts with grid on it, which is something that which is something like we talk about every day in our gym. And it's something did we want that to be part of our legacy? I wasn't asking myself that question when we were doing it. It was just something that we needed to have to create to create great volleyball. And, you're seeing effects in these shirts and the newcomers coming in. That's the biggest thing that I see that's kind of, lingering around, I guess.
Hi, this is Ted, also with Off the Block. Coach, can you talk a little bit about the challenges that you made during the match? Especially the last two seem to be momentum shifters. What was your thought process in making those challenges?
Yeah, that I was right. But we have a rule in our gym. I ask the guys most of the time, or try to get eye contact with the guys. They have a way better advantage. And I would say that probably half the challenges that I've won this year are probably TJ's wins. He's the first one to get this glare across the court, lock eyes with me going, come on, man, we got to challenge this. And that is great, because we talk about it. Like, I don't have a great view where I am, to be honest with you, half the time. I have the worst view. And there's sometimes I've seen it just because it's the line I can see or a net. But we need to be honest, because we can't waste them. We don't get them back, if we're wrong or if we're right. So we ask the guys to be honest, and we ask them to be truthful about what they see, not with their heart, that they want everything to go their way. But we got some to go our way, and they were a momentum changer because, hey, we needed every point we could get. So if we needed some by a challenge, then I'll take those ones too.
Brian?
Coach, with the majority of the starting lineup being seniors, who are the next men up?
Yeah, we got a whole bunch of guys in the gym that you don't really know of yet. And that'll be a whole new journey that we start with some guys that have learned so much, and we'll compete. We'll get out on the floor, and they'll put on our logo, and they'll represent our school, and they'll start their journey. But they were able to learn from the best. So we have the group that we have coming back, and we have 2 nice recruiting classes and the seniors they're high school seniors and juniors. But this isn't the time right now to really go over that list. It's just not fair to what these guys did tonight.
All right, we'll close out with Mike.
This is not a good last question. I'm sorry. There was the point that DJ, it was a kill to the back line that they called out, and he immediately looked at you and put the C up, and that ended up being a really big moment, obviously.
Yeah.
Were you going to challenge that before he did that, or did you see him and go, well,
It's really hard for how far it is. I mean, the passion was real. I knew, like, okay, I have to listen to this. And then, he kept repeating it. So it wasn't about, he was doing it with his heart. He really believed it was in. Or maybe he didn't. Maybe he just sold it on me. I don't know. But either way, it was close enough to challenge. And it certainly looked in. From our vantage, and TJ was selling it pretty good, so maybe he should go into sales.
All right, thank you very much, Long Beach State. Congratulations on the 2019 national champions.
Awesome, thank you guys.
Staying away from you.
I didn't know it was going to be the last question.
Come on, Mike. Ask me about Star Wars.
Okay,